points from the 100. Jason Rothenberg, Eliza Taylor, Lindsey Morgan, Devon Bostick, Christopher Larkin, and Richard Harmon. So, well, Eliza, let me ask you, because the storyline, meanwhile, has, huge implications. We got a look there at how Clark has to deal with all this, and she clearly is dealing with this loss. At the same time, though, she has to worry, whoever's the new commander could be heading straight for my people, and now the worst possible person is in that role. So, can you talk about going forward, how much is the loss of Lexa weighing on her while she has to deal with so much else?
Well, I think, firstly, Clark has always been very good at compartmentalizing. She's always been very good at pushing forward in even the worst situations. But this one's different. I mean, this is her love, and it's going to be really, really tricky for her. And I think it changes her. It really changes her for good. But in true Clark fashion, she will somehow get through it. But it really is, it's such a hard situation for her.
Now, Bob, Bellamy has gone to some very dark places himself. He now is sort of secretly working against Pike, but, not even his sister can trust in him at this point. Can he earn back?
You're reaching there.
She did that for kindness. Can he earn back that trust with the people that he worked so closely with in the past?
I think he's going to have to prove himself, and he's going to have to learn some pretty tough lessons. Yeah, lessons, whatever. Lessons with that. Sorry, this lady at sign language is doing great things, and lessons isn't a word. I don't know if she's going to sign that. Look, I think it's going to take some work for him to, prove his worth to them. I don't think that he can't be redeemed, and he still has a lot of qualities that are an asset to this guy crew, and hopefully him changing his mind can make them see that.
And Lindsey, Raven. Raven was under the sway of the City of Light. She is now sort of rejecting that, but will it be that easy? She did take the chip, and we see that Jaha has some other sort of plan brewing. So can she so easily say, I'm out on this deal?
That answer is definitely coming up as far as in the next episodes that follow, but I think you really get to see the hold the chip can put on people and what it can do to one's mind, and just kind of like how scary that is, and how one can utterly lose a loss of control. But I think you see Raven really put her mentality to the test, and also her friends come to her rescue, maybe. So, it's good. Keep watching the next episodes. You'll get all your answers there.
Well, meanwhile, Devon, for Jasper, he's been trying to join the City of Light. But now that he's seeing, because he was with Raven, he saw the memories she was missing, has that sufficiently altered his path? Is he sufficiently out now on trying to take that chip?
I don't know if it sufficiently alters it. I mean, Jasper's been suffering major PTSD since Maya melted in his arms, and I think, he wants to do anything to forget that memory, but seeing that Raven has forgotten about all of the good memories within, it may change his mind a little bit, but, having someone melt in your arms is still pretty traumatic, so it's kind of like a balancing act here, do I take it? Do I not take it? We'll see.
Flip of the coin. And Christopher, Monty recently, it was a big good news, bad news situation, because he was reunited with his mom, but she kind of sucks. Talk about, what does he do. But now that his loyalty is going to be very tested, he's clearly trying to help save the lives of these people, but his mom is diehard Team Pike.
Hey, quick show of hands. Who hates my mom? Okay, to everyone who just raised their hand, don't forget that, before he came to the ground, he spent 4 or 5 months with these fine people. Before that, I think he had a pretty loving relationship with his parents on the Ark. And so his mom is alone on the ground, she's lost her husband, and if Monty turns his back on her, then she has nobody. So I think the issue isn't as black and white as that may initially seem. So he's very conflicted, but I think he's always trying to do the right thing, so we'll see which direction he goes.
So Richard, with 8...
If this was season 1, you would have booed. We gotta get a couple cheers now.
There's 8 episodes left this season. How many more times will Murphy get beat up?
Oh boy. I gotta ask my question.
I'll let you think on that.
That's, I can't spoil anything, but I think, consistency is the key. So I think probably you're guaranteed a few more times at least.
On a more serious note, Murphy, he was taken to Polis. He really was thrown into this situation. How is he reacting to everything happening around him? Because he was really thrown in there, and there's so much huge events happening.
I mean, for Murphy being thrown into the fire, that's not anything new to him. That's kind of been his MO since being on the ground. He's gone from one bad situation to another. So I think he's taking it the same way he takes all situations for him, which is just what he analyzes the situation, sees what he can do to survive, and he makes sure that he does. And so far, he's got a pretty good record of that.
What I think is incredible about the Murphy experience this season is that he somehow has found himself as the only person who knows everything. He knows everything about what happened with Jaha. He knows everything about what happened with Lexa and the flame, and so he becomes sort of the accidental hero in many ways that I think people would not have guessed in season 1, certainly, which is incredible. A large part, a testament to how great Richard is.
Yeah, we get it, Jason. You love Murphy.
I do. I love Murphy.
I think the Murphy experience.
I write too many one-liners for Murphy. I always have to cut them out.
I like saying them.
The Murphy experience would be an amazing band name, by the way.
Let me sounds like a ride at Universal.
Bob wants to go on.
Oh yeah, twice.
So, as I was mentioning, Jason, we've just got the worst case scenario as the new commander. For you, what can you say about what will the next move be for Clark, but also for someone like Roan, who's there, given what this means?
I mean, she's not the commander yet. She doesn't have the flame yet.
That's
so
true.
The process is, you win the conclave, i.e. kill all the other initiates, which she did, and there are no rules, so you can cheat like she did. And then you have to ascend. And the ascension ceremony is the ceremony in which the flame is put into the next commander, and the next commander receives the memories and minds and wisdom of the commanders prior. And that hasn't happened yet. And so, we'll see how that plays out, whether or not that happens. I don't want to tease too much about it, but it's not a straight path.
Eliza, Clark really has no idea about the whole City of Light, and Murphy does, but even he wouldn't know what's going on back in Arcadia. So anything you can say, I'm guessing that might change at some point. Anything you can say about how she might react, given that this is a huge sort of revelation about all these things that are happening to people she cares about?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, my mind was blown even just like when I kind of read properly what was going on in Arcadia and with Jaha and everything. And I think she's definitely going to learn more. I'm sure you can all gather that. But her mind will be like.
Murphy downloaded Clark on everything in between episode 7 and episode 8. She knows everything. What you guys just saw.
Right, outside of the Arcadia, she knows about
Outside, whatever Murphy knows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clark.
Bob, let me go back to, Bellamy siding with Pike in the first place. He did some very dark actions. What do you think it was that sort of made him decide to side with him and to go along with that initially?
Initially, I have to kind of recall that. But Look, I think that Bellamy, with his experience with the Grounders, has never been really positive. You know, there was like 100 kids and they were trying to survive, and then an army started. We tried to retreat and they killed us and fenced us in, and we had to fight our way out. For Bellamy, he went into Mount Weather and released hundreds of Grounders that were supposed to help in the fight, and they just abandoned them and left the Sky Crew there. So I think once Mount Weather went down, I think he'd had enough. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, and he decided that he was going to take, you know, action with Pike, even though Pike's was very drastic. And I mean, you hear that Bellamy tried to stop him out on the battlefield, but still failed to do that. I think that Bellamy was tired of living under the law of the Grounders that haven't necessarily treated them, the Sky Crew, the way that, you know, he thought they would. And people have to keep in mind that Bellamy wasn't privy to any conversations that Clark and Lexa were having. So what the audience knew is something that Bellamy did not know. So he went forward with Pike. And you know, I think that's pretty true to the way that Bellamy was in first season, kind of act first and then ask questions later.